can't believe that it's already 2026. This year I have been doing a junk journal. In my junk journal, I made a 6 books that I want to read in 2026. And I figured I would share them with you guys because I'm really curious to hear what books you guys are looking forward to reading this year, and I just want to talk about these books a little bit. I actually have 5 of the books here. One of them I'm still waiting for in the mail, and I'm also going to be making a 2026 book haul of a bunch of the books that I have been getting either for Christmas or just for the new year. I am so excited to make that, but these are the 6 books that I am really wanting to get to in 2026. And I know sometimes people do a 26 books that I want to read in 2026 or one for every year. I simply cannot commit to 26 books that I want to read because that's actually more than half of my reading goal. Without further ado, let's get into it. One of the first books that I would love to get to this year is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is the second prequel for the Hunger Games series, and it is the story of Haymitch. I am really excited to get into this. I actually reread the Hunger Games trilogy this past fall, so I'm really excited. I haven't read Songbirds and Snakes yet, but I do need to read that before I get into this one. However, I know the movie for this is coming out this year, and so I'm super duper excited to read this and then watch the movie and rewatch all of the movies, hopefully. This is my first book on my 6 picks for 2026. Next up, and I'm actually proud to say that I already read this one this year. This was my first book of the year. It's Queen of Shadows, which is technically the 5th. It's the 4th or the 5th book, depending on what order you read this series in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I really enjoyed this book. It's 645 pages and I read it in 4 days because it was so good, and now I am accomplishing the tandem read, which looks pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy, but I am really so excited. I've only read like 1 to 2 books of this series each year, which is pretty crazy because usually when I start a series, I like to knock them all out one after the next. So this year, my goal is actually to finish this entire series. So I have 3 more books. I'm already starting the next 2 because it's a tandem read, and I love this one. So this is also my rating for this one, which I gave this one a 5-star because it was that good. So that's my next pick that I had for 2026. Next up is none other than the historical fiction queen herself. This is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I really want to get to this year, and also several of her books that I have. I know I also have The Four Winds and The Great Alone on my TBR, so I'm definitely wanting to get to those as well. She's just such an incredible emotional writer, and I absolutely love her stories and the characters in them, and I feel like I can connect and understand so much about the history that's going on through the lens of fiction. So I'm really excited for this one. I've heard so many great reviews and ratings on this one, so I'm super excited. That's my next book for 2026 that I want to get to. The next one is the one that I don't have yet, and it's called The Will of the Many. I believe it's by James Islington, if that's how you say that correctly, but this is a big, fat, chunky, high fantasy book, and honestly, I can't tell you what it's about or like why I specifically want to read it. Well, I can tell you when I want to read it. I have seen this being recommended by many people. I saw Sarah Caroli read it in one of her Vlogmas videos, and I was like, I really want to read that. For some reason, it just seems so good to me, and I put it on my 6 books for 2026 TBR because it is a big fantasy book, like 600 some pages, so I need to put it on that TBR to make sure that I read it this year and that it doesn't just sit on my shelf for eternity, but I am super excited about that one. The next book that I want to get to this year is actually a nonfiction book. This is Practicing the Way by John Mark Comer. I really loved his book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, and ever since I read that one over the summer, I've really been wanting to get into another one. I'm super excited to read this one. I also plan on listening to the audiobook of this one a little bit because I did that for Ruthless Elimination of Hurry and I really liked it, and then I think I'm also going to try to get the workbook for this because I noticed that when I was reading Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, I was taking a ton of notes, so I think it would just be really helpful to have that workbook and kind of be able to go along while I read this. And then the last pick on my 6 books of 2026 is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. This will be my first Brandon Sanderson book, and I know he is such a popular and profound writer, so I am so excited to get into this one. I saw Rachel Catherine recommend this one maybe 2 years ago. I got it last year for Christmas, and it's been sitting on my shelf ever since then, so I really need to get to this one this year, and I just feel like I'm really gonna love it based on her review. Yeah, I'm super excited for this and to read something Something by Brandon Sanderson. So these are 6 of the books that I'm super excited to get into in 2026. If you have read any of them, please let me know your review and your rating in the comments down below. And also, I would love to hear what you are planning to read in 2026. And I thank you guys for watching this video. I'm excited to make more book videos this year, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!